Lang Lang, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to me today about your experience of the Steinway. And if I can start off by asking you how you started playing the piano, what age you were when you first started?
Yeah, when I was beginning of learning piano, I was 2 years old. I mean, didn't really start to play, but I started to kind of play, in another area. And but unfortunately, that time we don't have money to buy Steinway. It would be amazing to have a Steinway in the beginning, but it was some upright. So I started quite early.
And what sort of age were you when you first became aware of Steinway, maybe played the Steinway piano for the first time?
It was when I was 6. Because when I was 5, I played a first recital since I was winning an award in my hometown. And a year later, my teacher took me to the conservatory in my hometown. At that time, we only had one Steinway in the whole city, and it was in this conservatory. So it was a grand piano, and I started playing it. And it was an amazing experience, of course. In the very beginning, I know how different is this great piano compared to what I have at the time.
And when did you first when did you first start playing Steinway pianos regularly?
When I get into the Central Conservatory of Music, after turning 10, I would say. But even before that, I had when I was taking lessons in the conservatory, there were already Steinway pianos in the classroom. Pretty old Steinways though,
right.
Because it's at that time I think it's very expensive to buy always the new ones. So
yes.
One piano I think used for 50 years, I would say.
Right.
And
were they mainly uprights or?
There's also mainly small grand.
Right. And what sort of interesting experiences have you had in playing the Steinway, or have you any stories about your experience of dealing with Steinway?
Yeah, it's truly almost like when we get that chance to play, it's almost like a prize winner. I remember when I won few competitions, and then my teacher gave me the key to the classroom, which has the grand Steinway. And he said, you can use it for the rest of the afternoon. You can play on that piano. And I was like, really hungry for that. And for me, it was practice the whole afternoon and really in a very high mood. And every time it just gave me such an inspiration, to play the piano, especially listening to the great pianist's recording. And then after you hear those great sounds, and then finally you start playing the Steinway piano, you realize, that's why. Of course, you need to be certain level to produce the sound, but my point was that you realize there is a way to make the sound like that.
Yes.
Through Steinway. Yeah.
And what are the special qualities of the Steinway that appeal to you? I mean, is there something that you might say about that?
It's basically, Steinway piano is like a human being. Each piano has their own personality, but every piano has really amazing standard.
Yes.
And the great thing is that when you're touring concert, you play different Steinways. It's like you're playing with the same family members, but different personality, which is fantastic, because piano shouldn't be like a machine, shouldn't be like a furniture, even though it looks nice, even though it looks very nice, but in the end, it's really the difference of the mood, of the sound, of the real character. That will really makes the huge difference.
And because you're making that comment about being of a family, do you like to have a choice when you come to Steinway Hall and they say there are 6 pianos, or are you happy to play whichever of them is available because you know they're all going to be very good?
Over the years, you develop, I develop few kind of personal relationship with few members that I found quite close to me. So when I do recordings, when I do some studio work, I would like to ask for that typical numbers.
Right.
But in the same time, I always ask to try new ones and to have a new experience. And for the last recording, I had a new one, and it's actually really amazing. I saw this one in New York, and it's really sounds fabulous. And this is totally new, that doesn't even have a real number yet. So, but just played that and just found that it's just unbelievable. And so I immediately called to deliver it to the recording studio in Berlin, and we made a new recording, the least recording on that piano, which is fantastic.
And in the travels that you do, have you found that pianos in certain parts of the world are preferable for you?
Not really, because in the moment, every great concert hall in the world, everyone, including big, small cities in China, they're always Steinway pianos, either from Germany or from the US. So in the end of the day, the quality are similar. It really depends on also the piano technician. This is also very, very important. If you really protect the piano well, you really tune the piano, train the piano well, that's also something to do with the pianist, of course.
Yes.
The piano actually lasts much longer, the sound, than if you just put the piano into a place that doesn't have a temperature control, doesn't have, have a weather, whatever, just hung there. That's not good. So the piano is like a human being. We need a real care.
Yes. And I wanted to ask you a question which occurred to me. I saw you playing at the opening of the Beijing Olympics, and I heard that after you had performed there, that many people took up the piano, started to learn to play the piano. And it occurred to me that, it's the way that the world is today, that so many people want to have an instant ability to do something. They want to be able to go to an instrument where maybe there's an electronic something. So it's quite interesting that people see you performing and then take an interest and start playing. What do you think about that aspect of people learning today?
People learn piano with a different idea in mind. Some people learn piano because they like piano. Some people learn piano because they want to be a pop star or a rock star. So piano is kind of like the basic build up to to their later dreams.
Yeah.
And some people like piano because other people play it. So it's kind of like a fashion thing. So everyone has a different kind of concept of learning this instrument.
Right.
But in the end, it's all good because it's always lead up to something interesting, something creative, which is making music.
Yes. And in terms of the sound that the Steinway produces, I don't know if you would demonstrate anything that's special about the piano. Are there particular aspects of how the piano works that are important to you?
The piano, one thing about piano is that it's very hard, especially for the pianos in the 19th centuries to really sing. And many pianos before sounds very good but very mechanical.
Right.
So Steinway is the first piano maker for me. It's really made piano almost felt that you can sing it, that kind of quality. Chopin, when I play Schubert, it really sings. Yeah. And another thing about it is the range of dynamic.
Right.
In Steinway piano, every Steinway piano, you can really make a real contrast between this percussive sound to the most lyric sound, and from the extreme powerful energy, into this blurry, almost air-like touches. And those qualities, I mean, just example of few, and there are other things, of course,
Yes.
the preciseness and the sustained sound, the bell sound. So Steinway really made it a piano sounds like not only an orchestra, but
Right.
also like a whole opera.
And presumably, you're very lucky today, we're very lucky today, that the recording quality is so good, because when we listen to pianists playing instruments from a period ago when the recording quality wasn't so good, we don't get the true depth of maybe what they were doing. So
It's actually hard to say that, because when you listen to the older recording, sometimes I like it because the taste is really different. Maybe they play different, maybe the piano sounds different, but in the same time also the old records sounds very, if it's a music on vinyls, it sounds really, it's a little bit like this,
yes,
like a waves, sound waves. And today everything is very clean.
yes,
But recently, digital now, after the new technology coming, more, in a way, more fulfilling. In a moment, I felt that actually in the new recording industry, you can really make piano sounds not only digital feeling, but you also can make it, very beautiful sound waves, but in a much cleaner quality.
right. And did you, have you over the years learned much about how the Steinway is built? Is that something that you've...
Mm-hmm. I always, I came to Hamburg to see how piano, they start work, from piece of wood, basically, and into this enormous piece of art. And I see how precise, how experienced, and how much passion, the people from different departments are working. It's really very, very beautiful to see that. Whether it's in the Hamburg factory or the New York factory, because the American piano and the Germans are looking slightly different.
Yeah.
Even the shape, even some of the things inside, it's also slightly different. But no matter Hamburg or New York, the precision is the same. The attitude to create the best of the best, the spirit, you really see that.
Okay, that's
All right.
great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great questions.
Thank you.